What's up, everybody? It's a new Shocktober episode, and this one I am looking forward to getting out of the way because it was a big blind spot in my horror filmography over the last few years. It's one of, now that it is out, I will say it no longer probably considered this, but it was considered one of the best, like, big budget horror films, and that is The Conjuring. Directed by the Saw director, James Wan. I believe he directed Saw. I know he was involved. He's the Saw guy. He's one of them. I'm pretty sure he was the director of the first, maybe even the second. But yeah, The Conjuring. We got a little synopsis here based on the, in quotations that I'm adding, true case files of the Warrens. Paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren work to help a family terrorized by a dark presence in their farmhouse. Forced to confront a powerful entity, the Warrens find themselves caught in the most terrifying case of their lives. So yeah, when The Conjuring came out, everybody was losing their fucking minds. Like, oh, The Conjuring, it's so scary, it's so good, and blah, blah, blah. And of course that piqued my interest, being a horror fan, but I knew it was a like a possession type movie, like a demon possession type horror movie. And to be perfectly honest, I generally don't like that realm of horror movies. I always find them boring. I always find them to be just not that interesting. I've never seen one that I liked. I will say that I have never seen The Exorcist, and that is kind of the bar there. But I just feel like every movie is just aping what that movie did. So to me, none of them feel original, and it's just like, I don't care. But I wanted to give The Conjuring a shot. I honestly didn't know anything about what the movie was about. I didn't even know that the guy from Office Space was like the main actor. I did know the dude who plays Ed Warren. He was I don't have any of their names here in front of me. I should be better. But yeah, the guy who was the owl in Watchmen, who I really like him. He's in a lot of movies. He's popping up in more stuff every now and then. I was just watching The Founder, and he's like a minor character in that. Patrick Wilson, that's his name. But yeah, I love Patrick Wilson. He was really great. Ron Livingston's the guy from Office Space. He's always really good in the movies that I see him pop up in. But yeah, The Conjuring, it was okay. It had some good scenes. I feel like everybody would agree that the clapping scene where they're playing the clap game, easily the highlight of the movie. But as soon as like shit starts really going down and they show a like ghost woman perched on top of a dresser and she jumps down at the children, I was just like, oh, that's a person in makeup, and I was completely out of it by then. And then the movie just kind of spins into some exorcism stuff, and it just like got boring for me. Like the first half of the movie I really loved, like when it's very subtle and things are just kind of happening, and like the hands coming out of the closet and out of the shadows or whatever for the clapping. That stuff was awesome. But once they start showing things and like showing them in full body, like, hey, here's this ghost woman and stuff like that, it just pulled me out of that movie so quick. And I was just like, oh, that looks not very good. And I feel like they just went a little too far with some of the things, and I lost it, you know. I'm trying to remember it's been a little while since I kind of put off recording this one for some reason, but I'm trying to remember everything that I like was thinking while watching the movie. I mean, all the performances are pretty good. You have a lot of kids in the movie, so that can always be problematic, but for the most part I thought they were all really good. I'm trying to think of anything else that jumped out at me. It looked really nice. That's one thing, you know, you get these big budget horror movies, they're always going to have a good look. And The Conjuring is no different. Well, I will say I don't really think I'm interested in The Conjuring 2. Most people say it's not as good as the first one, so if I didn't really like the first one, I don't think I'm going to like the second one. But I know there are some people out there who are like, no, they put a 2 after it, so it's better. So maybe I'll watch it. Probably not for this year's Shocktober, maybe for next year's. Yeah, overall, it just didn't do a lot for me. It wasn't scary. there were some decent visuals. Like I like when the Warrens first come to the house and they're kind of looking around, and the whole thing is like, oh, we have to find proof before the church will allow an exorcism. So they're looking around, and there was the clap game in the beginning, and then they say that like, oh, I saw things as soon as I came in, because the wife, she's like a clairvoyant or something like that. And she's talking about like how she saw a shadow clinging to them, and then she sees like the hanging woman from the tree outside. Like all that stuff was pretty cool, but everything after that, like the last good moment that I remember is when she's doing the laundry and the sheet unhooks from the line and then hits a person that's like standing there, but there's nobody there, and then the sheet floats up to the window and smacks on there, and then like it goes away and you see somebody in the window. Like that was kind of the last good moment. Like I loved all that stuff, but it's when it's just an exorcism scene isn't fun to me. And like when your big ending is somebody tied down and another person just reading from a book very loudly, that doesn't do a lot for me. I don't know how The Exorcist ends, if it ends in any way, shape, or form like that. But that kind of stuff just doesn't do it for me. I do want to see The Exorcist just to see, like, that's the almighty of those kind of movies. So I want to know, am I missing something? Am I missing out on something? But The Conjuring, it didn't do a lot for me. And that's kind of all I really have to say about it. So that's going to be it for this episode of Shocktober. The Conjuring, it's like a 3 out of 5. It's okay. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. Probably never going to watch it again. But that's going to be it for today's Shocktober. So be sure to check back tomorrow, where we're going to talk about a really great horror film. Well, great in my opinion. There's been some varying opinions since this movie came out, but we're going to talk about a little movie called It, the new one. So be sure to check back tomorrow, and thanks for listening.